Ooh, that smells burnt. You can smell that smoke. You can still see the steam coming off of that bone. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jeff and I'm a self-proclaimed foodie who quit my corporate job to trade, travel, and eat. If you've been following me, then you should already know that I have a deep love for Asian food, and one of the best regions for some of the most delicious Asian food on the planet outside of being in Asia itself is in the Bay Area, California. Come along with me in this video as I'm going to be sharing with you some of the top places I hit up to satisfy my cravings during my recent one-day Asian foodie adventure in the Bay. Let's get started. The first stop on my list was a Korean food establishment with multiple locations scattered throughout the Bay Area called Daeho. We visited the branch located in Milpitas, and the restaurant serves up a variety of traditional Korean foods, but the highlight here is a popular comfort dish called galbi jjim, which is a rich and heavy Korean stew. Alright, so we're the second table to get seated. They just opened about 30 minutes ago. And it's a relatively small establishment, but when you first walk in, you can already smell the broth, all the seasoning, the Korean spices are brewing in the kitchen. We're gonna come out and our clothes are probably gonna have to be washed, so. All right, so they just brought us our kalbi bibimbap. Comes out on a hot stone plate. That's sizzling. That looks good. And that's just the only other item we ordered. The main entree is gonna be the kalbi jjim. And I'm excited because I'm a huge fan of oxtail. And so the bibimbap comes with this red sauce. It gives it a little bit of a kick. We're just mixing it all in. And you want to mix that together quick, otherwise it's going to stick to the hot stone plate. Or if it burns a little bit, it actually ends up being a little bit crispy, which is nice as well. Kind of like Chinese clay pot fried rice. You want it to actually stick to the clay pot to give it that little bit extra crisp. And you can see big, thick slices of the short rib in this bibimbap as well, which is impressive because sometimes places that serve bibimbap don't give a whole lot of meat. All right, we're gonna dig into this bibimbap first before we wait for the kalbi jjim. This is scorching hot, so again, gotta be very careful. You get a piece of that meat first, some of those vegetables, oh yeah. That's some of the best bibimbap I've had in a while. Wow, yeah, good. A lot of substance to it. Good. Try some of this kimchi. Oh, that's heavily marinated in the kimchi rub. Good. I like my kimchi kind of mild, strong, but sometimes it's a little too potent. Like when you first put it in your mouth, it feels like a gas pipe kind of burst in your mouth, but that's really, really good. This looks like a pretty good sized piece of daikon. Very, very crispy. Yeah. Wow. A little bit tart. There we go. Go for some of these green looking chive. Little thin strips of carrot as well. Sweet. Yeah, that tastes more like the marinade of the kimchi itself. Oh, cool. Ooh, that smells burnt. You can smell that smoke. They brought the big serving of the kalbi jjim, and what we order is just the regular size, which is enough for 2 to 3 people. You can upsize it and it's actually enough for 3 to 4 people, and from my understanding, they give you so much depending on the size of your appetite. Even if you order the large and you have 4 adults with you, people still often have many leftovers to bring home, so something to keep in mind when you're ordering. And you can see that clay pot that the dish comes in is like scorching hot from the oven that they put it in, and all the sauce for this kalbi jjim dish itself is still boiling. All right, so now we are digging into this short rib and oxtail galbi jjim, and there's plenty of ingredients. You can see it's kind of like a Korean stew. There's a short rib, and there's obviously the oxtail with a lot of gelatinous fat on it. It looks very, very tender, and that cheese is just like melted right off from that flamethrower. Yeah, very tender. Almost like a pasta noodle, like gnocchi, right? Oh, good. Oh, and that sauce. Yeah. So again, we just went with a mild sauce, but you can go to different spice levels depending on how much heat your party that you're dining with can take. But we just went with the mild today. But yeah, this rice cake, very, very tender, very, very tasty. Well, now with any stew, Asian style stew, it is of my personal opinion that you must have it with some rice to kind of help balance off all that heavy sauce. So I'm going to dig into this little piece of galbi short rib here first. Not little, but it's very, very tender. There you go. hot. But so good. It's just like a spicy stew. Even with the mild, it's actually quite zesty in a way. All right, and I'm gonna dig into the highlight of this dish, which is the actual oxtail. And this particular piece has a whole layer of cheese right on top of it, like a cheese pizza. Pretty tender, like right in between being like chewy and tender. So it's kind of like just right in between, it's chewable, like a steak in a way. Now that's to be expected because unless you can actually braise it for like 2 or 3 hours at a time or use a pressure cooker, it's really hard to get oxtail to be tender at all, for the meat to kind of just fall right off the bone. But this is actually quite easy to eat. And you can see all that cheese. I'll try to get some of that. Good. And every square inch of this dish just absorbs all that heavy stew sauce. You can kind of see how the short rib here is very, very tender. I can just kind of slice through it with my spoon. I like the short rib better than the oxtail. Normally, I would say I'm all over oxtail, but that short rib, actually with all that sauce, very, very flavorful, very, very tender. It's like a country-style barbecue that you'd get in Nashville, Tennessee, with a Korean kick to it. So good. Yeah. All right, so we came at the perfect time. So we're leaving when the rest of the tables are filling up. But this place is jam-packed on a Monday night. So come here and plan accordingly. All right, so that was definitely the highlight of our trip here. Our 24 hours Asian foodie day in the Bay adventure. Everything that we ordered was not cheap. In this particular shop, the regular size kalbi jim with the oxtail, the braised short rib went for about $89.99. And then obviously with the bibimbap, our total came to about $134 US. That's before tip. So it's definitely pricey. But if you come with the right amount of people, let's say 5 or 6, and order that regular size, I think it's actually well worth the money, right? You split the cost, it's a great deal. If you just come with a small family or you and a couple, I believe you will have plenty of leftovers to make that meal last for a few days. So it's very, very good. The place is called Daeho Kalbi Gym, located in Milpitas, the broader Bay Area.
Now, no Asian foodie adventure can be considered complete until you add a traditional Asian dessert into the mix. And whenever I make a day trip out to the Bay Area, one of my very first stops to always hit up is Meat Fresh, a very popular establishment with many locations scattered throughout the world serving up traditional Taiwanese-based desserts. I've traveled to Taiwan many of times, and for some reason, the desserts at Meat Fresh are still my personal favorite and always hits the spot.
Yeah, so this is the biggest Meat Fresh I've seen. There's like tons of people on the right side. There's tons of people on the left side when you first walk in. So we just got to find the ordering station and get our favorite Meat Fresh style desserts here. This place actually closes at 10 p.m. and it's just a little bit past 9 as we currently speak. So hopefully they're going to be able to serve up all the desserts for all these people in line. Otherwise, we might have to come tomorrow morning for breakfast. So we just ordered 3 individual entrees and everything. It came out to about 37 and some change. But one of the cool things about this place, if you come here often, you actually sign up for the reward program. And we were actually able to deduct about $4 off of our total bill. So everything came together for about $33 US. All right, icy grass jelly with the side of vanilla ice cream. Now, I don't know why they didn't put it for me into this cup. Normally they do, but I'll just have to scoop it over. And here's our custom one. Plenty of red beans and some patara balls. Also, some grass jelly and some vanilla ice cream. And then we have a boba shaving entree there. I'm not quite exactly sure which one that is that my daughter got, but we're gonna focus on this one right here, icy grass jelly signature. All right, that looks much normal now. As you can see, there's a lot of these mochi balls, and underneath it's just plenty of grass jelly. And then what's really refreshing is this shaved ice or snow that's also coated with that grass jelly syrup. And so when the ice cream kind of blends in all together with it, it's just really, really refreshing. I'm so excited. Like, I gotta eat this before it melts because I want to keep talking and tell you how much I love this stuff, but I'm just gonna dig right in. So, so refreshing, man. Jeez. Wow. Now, if you're not a fan of ice cream, you don't have to get it with the ice cream. It's just a personal preference for me. I like to get a little bit of everything in every scoop. So get some of that grass jelly, that vanilla ice cream, and one of those mochi balls. Those mochi balls are like perfect texture, perfect chewiness, not hard at all. Wow. All right, so meet fresh, everybody. Now, there's not only the Cupertino location, there's multiple locations in the broader Bay Area, San Francisco, Fremont. I know Livermore actually has one as well. If you live in the SoCal area, there's plenty of them scattered throughout the broader LA County as well. Some of the best dessert on the planet, in my opinion.
Now, the next place on my list for this Taste of Asia foodie adventure is called Udon Mugizo, that serves a variety of hot and cold homemade udon noodle dishes. This restaurant has 3 separate locations scattered throughout the San Francisco Bay Area, and we decided to visit the San Jose branch located on Saratoga Avenue.
All right, guys, so we just got seated down here on a Sunday, and it's not super busy. It's around 1:30 afternoon. And we actually ordered 3 different types of entrees with some appetizers. We ordered an appetizer of takoyaki. We're gonna try the curry udon, the katsu curry udon, as well as the niku udon, which is gonna be my personal favorite. So we ordered some takoyaki balls. The first bite, gonna try this in, see how it goes. Hot. Wow. Shouldn't have put the whole thing in my mouth. Those aren't the biggest takoyaki balls I've had, but it's actually very crispy on the outer layer. In some places we've had it in our travels, like the outside skin is a little bit chewy, but this was very, very crispy. Very, very tasty though. Wow. All right, going for another bite here. Those fish flakes are very, very flaky. Very, very creamy on the inside. You can taste the chunks of octopus. Very, very good. Thank you so much. All right, like I said, the food actually we ordered is the first time here. We ordered the niku udon, which is a big, big bowl. It comes in a regular and large. We're also gonna try the katsu curry udon. We just sat down like 15 minutes ago and the food came within like 10 minutes. So service seems to be pretty fast. All right, here's the niku udon. The reason why I like this is because of these big, large buckwheat noodles. Very, very springy, kind of chewy in your mouth. And then they give it with a whole bunch of tempura flakes, a bunch of shredded meat here. And what I like is a little runny egg. You can see the yolk there. Yeah, it looks very good. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just try some of this broth. Very, very savory. You can taste the Kirin sauce that they put into it. And you can see the very thinly sliced, high quality beef here that they use as well. I'm gonna try some of that beef first. Pretty tender. Wow. Okay. What I like to do is actually break that egg yolk up so the yolk, the creamy yolk, actually kind of blends into my soup broth. Mixed with those tempura flakes. Yeah, take a big bite here. What I like about udon noodles, very, very chewy. Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna try into some of this katsu curry udon that we ordered. They gave you actually some really big chunks of braised beef, look very, very tender. And obviously you have the pork katsu on the side. Take a bite of this meat first. Very, very tender. It's like a curry beef stew in a way. Wow. Go for some of those noodles that's heavily drenched in that curry. It's steaming hot. I'm not sure if you can see the steam, but wow. Good. Hot. Wow. Slightly battered, a little bit crispy still. And the meat itself doesn't have a lot of taste, but when you drench it in the curry is what gives it the overall taste. So it's pretty good. I mean, the curry is really good.
The beautiful country of Taiwan is a place in Asia that I love visiting, and one of the main reasons I am constantly drawn to it is because of the abundance of vibrant night markets serving up traditional Taiwanese street snacks. So we decided to pay a visit to one of the mini Shilin Taiwan street snack establishments in the Bay Area. Although the prices you pay for similar bites here in the US are nowhere near as affordable as what you'd pay in Taiwan itself, it is a great way to curb those cravings for some of my most favorite Taiwanese street foods. We paid a visit to a neighborhood restaurant in Cupertino called Lei Garden to enjoy some classic dim sum cuisines. As a second-generation American-born Chinese who grew up close to my heritage, there are many Cantonese-style cuisines that touches the heart and brings back memories for me since growing up as a kid. However, no style of cuisines does it better than dim sum.
All right, guys, so second part of our trip out here to the Bay. We got some good, decent rest at the Residence Inn last night, and the first thing we woke up, because we're craving some dim sum here in the Bay Area. So there's plenty of options. We've actually never been here before. It was actually a recommendation by one of my friends, and we're gonna order the typical dim sum entrees that you would see at most restaurants and stuff. So we're gonna try everything out, and the food actually came very, very quick. It's a Monday afternoon around 12:30, so I suspect it's gonna get a lot more busy with all the patrons that are gonna come here for their lunch hour. All right, so we ordered a bunch of stuff. We ordered this chow mein, which is called Xiao Wang Chow Mein. We ordered these beef balls. It's actually called Oyodun, one of my favorite, and it comes with this sweet and savory tangy sauce that gives it a really good kick. We ordered some feng jiao, which is the chicken feet, some siu mai, and some pork and chive dumplings. I don't know what that's called in Chinese. So everything was very good, came out very, very quick. All right, dig right into one of these first. Oh, it's nice and hot. Now, if this is prepared very well, it should be very, very silky, very, very tender. Wow, silky, very, very tender. They actually add a bunch of there's some water chestnuts in there, a little bit of strips of bean curd, and it's mostly just meat that's minced up, so it's actually really good. Wow, hot. All right, next piece here is I'm gonna dig into one of these siu mais. And for siu mai with me, I personally like to drizzle a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of chili paste to kind of drench it in as well. It gives it overall very, very savory flavor. The siu mai is interesting. It's very, very good. It looks like they put cuts of shiitake mushrooms in there and also big chunks of shrimp, which is normal in siu mai. But not every place, to my understanding, actually uses mushrooms. But it's actually really good. As I was finishing up that siu mai, they brought us another plate of item tray that we ordered, and this was actually one of my favorite growing up as a kid. What it is called mouthwatering, and it's just a big rice noodle with meat, the similar meat that was in the meatball that's kind of stuffed into the rice noodle as well, and they drench it with the sweet soy sauce as well on top of that. So it gives a very, very good flavor. Now this is one of those dishes that you actually want to eat while it's steaming hot, because once it kind of cools down, the noodle kind of hardens a little bit. So when it comes out hot, I always try to attack this first. Ooh, you can see the steam coming right out of it. Wow, gotta be careful with that. Take a half bite first. So tender, wow. So silky, prepared very well. What really gives it the taste is that sauce. So another dish we ordered is called the ham soiko. What it is just a deep fried, battered rice ball with some minced pork and some cilantro and chives inside. So, very, very chewy on the inside. The flavor on the inside, the minced pork, is very, very good too. It's not overpowering. All right, so we're making good progress. The next piece I'm actually going to dig into is the chicken feet. It's actually called, Chinese name for it in Cantonese is called feng jiao. Here we go. You see the whole limb of the chicken foot itself just kind of came right out, and I can taste the bones or feel the bones in my mouth. Oh, very tasty though. The skin and the tendon is very, very gelatinous. You're not going to get much protein out of it. It's just kind of a little bit of a delicacy. So spitting out the bones is a normal way of eating feng jiao.
The rest of the items we ordered, including the stir-fried egg noodles called Xiao Wang Chow Mein, along with the savory sticky rice wrapped in a lotus leaf called Lo Mai Gai, were absolutely mouth-watering delicious. The baked pastry items, similar in appearance, that are called dan tat and po tat, which are influenced by the Portuguese pastries called pastel de nata, offered a very nice balance to the mostly savory items we ordered as part of our dim sum meal.
So this restaurant not only just specializes in dim sum, but for the evening hours, I believe they actually have traditional Cantonese-style entrees. So as you can see, they have the aquarium tanks behind me with the live prawns, the live fish, Dungeness crabs, live lobster, and then there's one giant king crab, solitary all by itself. So whoever's gonna eat that probably has a big appetite, right? So yeah, very cool. So far, very impressed with the food here from a dim sum perspective. I'd like to come back out someday and try their dinner entrees and see how it is, but very, very good.
In coming here to Lei Garden, we wrapped up our 24-hour Asian foodie adventure in the Bay to temporarily fulfill our never-ending love and cravings for Asian food. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel to continue following me on my food and travel adventures. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.